After a 5-minute-long FP1 session disrupted by technical issues, second practice at the circuit Gilles Villeneuve was extended to 90 minutes, and teams made the most of it before the looming grey clouds wrapped the session with heavy rain. With 8 of the drivers having done no running at all in FP1, it was no surprise to see almost all of them out on track the moment race control flicked the pit lane light to green. And it was Max Verstappen who was immediately on the pace and posting the quickest time, despite reporting some unhappiness with his gearbox setup.
These downshifts are a joke.
Understood.
But it wasn't the Dutchman on top when the checkered flag flew at the end of the session, as Lewis Hamilton led a Mercedes 1-2 ahead of teammate George Russell. Hamilton holds the record jointly with Michael Schumacher for the most wins at this track, with 7 victories so far. With Red Bull in such imperious form this year, he'll have a job to add to that tally this weekend. But the Silver Arrows topping FP2 and the team's double podium last time out in Spain are encouraging signs that they are closing the gap to the top. And with just a few minutes left on the clock, the heavy-looking grey clouds that had been making their way menacingly towards the circuit began dropping rain, preventing anyone from toppling Hamilton's time in the final moments.
Good weather for the duck.
That left Ferrari's Carlos Sainz third fastest, with his teammate Charles Leclerc in P5. The Monegasque looking to bounce back from a difficult race last time out in Barcelona that left him scratching his head about his car's poor performance. Between the two scarlet Ferraris was the green Aston Martin of Fernando Alonso. The Spaniard qualified a surprise P2 for Alpine at this race last year, and this time around his Aston team have brought a raft of upgrades to the car as they try to hit back at Mercedes in the battle for P2 in the Constructors' Championship. His mechanics were seen tweaking the setup of his car as it sat in the garage during the session, and whatever they did seemed to help as Alonso traded times with the other front runners at the top of the order. The other team with a big upgrade package in Montreal is Williams, though they had only enough parts to run on Alex Albon's car. The Thai driver was the last to emerge from the garage and was running Flovis paint on his early laps as the team tried to understand if their new parts are working as expected. Team boss James Vowles was hoping to gain at least a few tenths of lap time from the updates, though Albon finished the session down in P17. Half an hour in, Nico Hülkenberg's Haas could be seen going very slowly, with smoke pouring from the rear.
I lost the engine, I lost drive.
That triggered a red flag as the marshals doused the car with fire extinguishers. And a second red flag followed when Esteban Ocon received a panicked message from his race engineer.
Stop the car, stop the car, stop the car.
So it was the two Mercedes leading the line, with Hamilton ahead of Russell, then Sainz, Alonso and Leclerc. Verstappen was P6 in an unusually quiet session for the Dutchman, followed by Valtteri Bottas, who had topped the truncated FP1 session for Alfa Romeo. The second Red Bull of Sergio Perez was 8th, with the local hero Lance Stroll P9 and Pierre Gasly rounding out the top 10. Oscar Piastri was the lead McLaren in 11th, with Kevin Magnussen 12th ahead of Lando Norris. Zhou Guanyu was next in the second Alfa Romeo, followed by the AlphaTauri pair of Yuki Tsunoda and Nick de Vries. Next up was Albon, followed by Esteban Ocon, Logan Sargent, and finally Nico Hülkenberg.